Once the state is finished addressing the clarification, they will send it back to CMS. An SRT member will access the Compare Doc Change Report to view changes made by the state. The SRT will then review the submission package and complete the review tool following clarification. Let's go into the system to see what this looks like. We will log in to Mac Pro as a CMS Submission Review Team. You are initially taken to your Actions tab. You will have reviewed an email notification letting you know that you have a task in your to-do list for this package. The email notification lets us know that we have a submission package to review. So, before we review, we should catch up on the information entered into the correspondence log. Select the Records tab from the upper toolbar. Choose Submission Packages, View All Submission Packages, and click on the package ID ending in 4468G. By clicking on Compare Doc Change Report, the SRT member will be able to see what reviewable unit has been changed by the state. This will be indicated by a check inside a green circle. You will notice from the screen that the financial eligibility requirements for non-MAGA groups RU has been changed by the state. The rest of the reviewable units have an X in a red circle indicating that these RUs were not changed by the state. Let's review the comments entered by the state point of contact by clicking on Correspondence Log on the package navigation. Remember that in an actual submission package, there will be more detail here. We have added basic information to keep it brief for this training. Now that we have gathered the information on which reviewable units have been changed by the state and read the comments entered by the state point of contact, we are ready to begin our review of the submission package. We will first click on the Task tab on the upper toolbar. We will then select a task to review submission package and the package ending in 4468G. You will notice that all reviewable units, except for the financial eligibility requirements for non-MAGA groups RU, have a green circle with a check mark in it, indicating that we have previously completed a review of these RUs. If there was an empty circle in the column labeled My Review Status, it would indicate that we are not assigned to review those particular reviewable units. Although the state has made an update in one RU, the small change may affect other RUs in the package. As SRT, we may want to view other RUs we are assigned to identify if additional changes are needed. We would do so by selecting the blue link to each RU. However, for the purpose of this demonstration, we will only review the RU that the state has changed for the clarification process. Let's click on the financial eligibility requirements for a non-MAGA group's reviewable unit. We can view exactly what the state changed by clicking on a link below the instructions information labeled View Compare Doc. A table will appear for the Compare Doc associated with the financial eligibility requirements for non-MAGA group's reviewable unit. In the table, it will list the question that was changed along with the field name, the old value, the change type, and the new value. The old value column shows the initial selection made by the state. The change type column has a pencil symbol. If we hover over that symbol, the system lets us know that the field was updated. The new value column indicates what selection was made in the clarification. There is also a table below that will show any documents that were added or removed to this reviewable unit. In this case, there were no documents added or removed. Scroll down to the Review Assessment section and click the plus or minus button to expand. After reading the state's entry in the correspondence log and reviewing the reviewable unit that has been changed, we now believe that the state has addressed the CPOC's concern for this reviewable unit. We will change our review to sufficient when asked about the state's description and/or answer. An additional question will pop up asking the SRT member to describe the state's action. We will choose Resolved and the state modified submission is adequate. We will also verify the date on which the section issue was resolved by clicking in the text box and choosing today's date. Choose Yes to answer the question of whether our review of the section is complete. The SRT member has the option to add an analyst note, but we will skip that option for this step. In order to save the review assessment, we will click the button labeled Save Review Assessment. Click Return to Package Summary at the bottom left of the screen to return to the package summary. Once the review is complete, there are steps you may need to take that can be found in the SOP. Before we select Complete Review, Stephanie will touch on specific guidance from the CMS SOP.
Thank you. So I wanted to flag that I think the review tool feature is one of the coolest things about Mac Pro, in that you can see not only where the state has made a change when they return a spot to us, but what they changed. And where some of them are a little bit hard to lay out side by side depending on where it is in the state plan and if it's part of a table or how many different options there are. But we tried to make it as clear as we could so you could tell specifically the change that's made, and then you don't have to skim through the whole thing looking to see, did they actually make any other changes because they submitted this redline version, but do I trust that the redline is the only thing that's really changed? This will actually tell you whether or not that's the only thing that's really changed. So I wanted to highlight that, as well as to say that we're putting together some criteria in the SOP which will help you in figuring out how to describe your assessment, you know, when to use which of the different options and how to move forward and when. So again, refer back to the SOP.
Thanks, Stephanie, for providing guidance on that. To complete the review, click Complete Review at the bottom right of the screen. Please note that there will not be a verification message that typically pops up. Once you have clicked Complete Review, the SRT member may not go back and alter the review because the submission package has moved on in the workflow. The CPOC may also choose to initiate an RAI or request additional information. In this event, the CPOC completes the RAI form and returns the submission package to the state. If the CPOC and State Point of Contact have offline discussions, the communication may be documented officially in the correspondence log. Let's go into further detail on the RAI process. On this slide, we will be reviewing how a request for additional information, or RAI, functions in Mac Pro. Before we do so, let's pause to have a word from the CMS representative, Stephanie.
Thank you. I wanted to be clear here in terms of the way that we're moving through the SPA process, that the clarification is all that back and forth that we're going to have with the state to try to get to final approval on the first clock. And so I believe you can do as many clarification requests as you need to in order to get the SPA to an approvable place. And then if you can't do it on the first clock, this is when we would move into the RAI process.
All right, thanks, Stephanie, for clarifying that. If outstanding issues remain and the SPA cannot be approved on the first clock, then the CMS Point of Contact, CPOC, and the Submission Review Team, SRT, will make a joint decision to issue an RAI. This recommendation may be documented within the review tool. Then, the CPOC takes action on the package and initiates RAI. The CPOC collaborates with the CMS review team and completes the RAI form. Then, the CPOC returns the submission package to the state. Then, the State Point of Contact, SPOC, receives the submission package and RAI form in their task list. At this point, the SPOC determines if the package needs to be updated based on the information asked in the RAI form. If so, the SPOC modifies the package accordingly and responds to the questions within the RAI form. If not, the SPOC responds to the questions in the RAI form and does not modify the package. Once the RAI form and any modifications to the submission package are complete, the State Point of Contact returns the submission package and RAI form to CMS. A new 90-day regulatory clock begins at this point. Let's move into the system to demonstrate the workflow we've reviewed. We will log into MacPro as a CMS Point of Contact. As we demonstrated earlier, the CMS Point of Contact may also utilize a Compare Doc Change Report to see what reviewable units have been changed by the state, and the Review Tool Report to see what information the SRT members have added to the review tool. For the sake of time, let's assume that we have already spoken with our review team colleagues and know their detailed review. You will have received an email notification letting you know that you have a task in your to-do list for this package, in addition to seeing the instructions on your newsfeed. In order to start on the task, go to the Task tab on the upper toolbar. Select Review Submission Package with the package ending in 4468G. Let's assume that after the state responds to clarification, unlike in the example we just went through, this time we still have in-depth questions about the submission package. There are detailed changes that need to take place. We will now send the package into RAI or request additional information. The CMS Point of Contact will specify what needs attention within the submission package and return it to the state for edits and response. During the break, we completed the review of all reviewable units to save time during the demonstration. In order to move forward with RAI, every reviewable unit has to have a team review status marked as complete. Let's start by selecting Take Action on Package at the bottom of the page. A message will appear asking if we want to take action on the package. We will select Yes. Under the section marked Available Workflow Actions, select the radio button next to Request Additional Information regarding the submission package. Before we select to execute action, I would like to point out that at any point, if you preemptively select Take Action as CPOC, you can select Return to Package Task to return to the task you were previously on. At this time, we will continue with executing our action by selecting Execute Action. A message will appear asking if you are sure you want to request additional information regarding the submission package. Select Yes. You will notice that the reviewable submission package task is no longer listed on our task list. If you select the Task tab again, this will refresh the page. A new task will appear labeled Request Additional Information. We will select this task. After selecting the task, we are taken to the RAI form. This is where you will enter your questions for the state. As a reminder, there is text at the top that indicates that an RAI has the effect of stopping the 90-day time period for CMS to act on the material. A new 90-day timeframe will not begin until CMS receives the state's response. As we compose our questions for the state in the RAI form, we may want to have the reviewable unit open as well to reference. To do so, right-click on the link to view entire package and open this page in a new tab on your browser. It is important to not edit information in Mac Pro in two tabs. However, you may keep a reference tab open for your convenience. Additionally, be sure to keep your sessions with Mac Pro in one browser window. Navigate to the Reference tab we just opened and choose Reviewable Units from the package navigation. Click on the blue link to the Parents and Other Caretaker Relatives Reviewable Unit. After reviewing the data in the Parents and Other Caretaker Relatives unit, we are ready to compose our questions to the state in the RAI form. Let's close our Reference tab and navigate back to our Editable tab where we see the RAI form. The required fields are Reference, CMS Question to the State, and Policy/Regulation. We will enter Parents and Other Caretaker Relatives RU in the Reference section. For the CMS Question to the State section, we will assume that as CPOC, we have already discussed with the SRT regarding the questions to be entered in this field. Typically, the CPOC may utilize the Reference tab we showed to copy the analyst notes entered by the SRT member on this RU and paste them into the field. For the purpose of this demonstration, we will type, "Are you sure the FPL percentages are correct?" in the question field. We will enter Policy for the Policy/Regulation. Next, we will select Save Question to save our data. The question that we just entered will appear in the table labeled All Questions. If we click on the blue link to question ID 1, you will see that we are able to edit the question. There is also an option to delete question. We will not edit the question at this time, but rather choose the option to save question. We will repeat these steps to enter another question. While we are entering data, I will mention that the RAI form is a form of official communication within the submission package. It replaces the RAI letter that is used to be sent to the state. If CMS has overarching questions for the state, or if the CPOC and State Point of Contact have any offline discussions regarding the submission package outside of RAI, entries can be added to the correspondence log utilizing the steps shown earlier in this demonstration. Additionally, the CMS Point of Contact is the only user that can see the RAI questions before they are submitted to the state. It is expected that while the CMS Point of Contact is drafting the RAI form, the appropriate conversations are occurring outside the system as per the SOP guidance. Stephanie, would you like to speak more on this?
Yes, thanks, and I'm going to ask Sophia to help me too. But we wanted to pause here to highlight what Evelyn just said, that the CPOC is the only one who sees the RAI, the official form, before it gets submitted. It's the way the system is functioning right now. So every office, I think, needs to put their own process in place to make sure that the appropriate managers have looked at it. And I'm actually going to let you.
Sure, yes. And just to highlight, since many CPOCs on the line have been using MACPRO since last year. So last year, we were sending official RAIs outside of MACPRO. Well, this year, we're sending them in the actual MACPRO system. However, we're still enhancing the workflow functionality for the appropriate federal manager and leadership review of those RAIs. So like Stephanie mentioned, in the meantime, we are asking CPOCs and also central office SRTs to please capture the RAI. You will see later in the demonstration the functionality as to how you can do a print preview of something in MACPRO, so that each CPOC and SRT can then share that draft RAI with their manager for review before it goes out to the state. And just as a reminder that this is a new system, so we're still continuing to work on improving the system and enhancing the functionality so that it meets all our business needs. Thank you.
Thanks, Sophia.
Thanks, Sophia and Stephanie. Once all questions have been finalized, we will select the Take Action on package. A message will appear asking if we want to take action on the package. Select Yes. Under the section labeled Available Workflow Actions, we will select the radio button next to Send RAI to the State. Select Execute Action and Yes to send RAI to the state. Before initiating the RAI, make sure that you check the CMS SOP to ensure agreement with the appropriate parties. Once you select Yes, there is not the option to change your mind. You cannot withdraw the RAI request.